Leadership is not about authority. It's not about titles, power, or control. It's about influence. The best leaders don't demand loyalty, they earn it. They don't push people forward, they inspire them to move. Leadership is not a position you hold, it's the way you make others feel, the vision you create, and the trust you cultivate. People don't follow what you do, they follow why you do it. The most successful leaders, businesses, and movements are built not on products or services, but on a deep and compelling sense of purpose. When people believe in the why behind an idea, they commit to it in a way that goes beyond logic. They invest their emotions, energy, and trust into something greater than themselves. Most organizations and leaders start by explaining what they do. They focus on the product, the features, the benefits. Some go a step further and explain how they do it, highlighting their process, efficiency, or competitive advantage. But the truly exceptional ones, the ones that inspire, they start with why. They lead with purpose, with belief, with a cause that resonates on a deeper level. The reason why is so powerful is that it speaks to the emotional part of the brain, the part that drives behavior and decision-making. Logic can inform, but it rarely moves people. Emotion is what drives action. This is why people will stand in line for hours for a product they believe in, why employees will work tirelessly for a company they feel connected to, why movements grow when people feel a deep sense of belonging to something meaningful. A company that sells computers can tell you they make high-performance machines with cutting-edge technology. That's the what. But the companies that inspire don't just sell computers. They believe in challenging the status quo, in pushing the boundaries of innovation, in making technology intuitive and accessible. That's the why. And when people connect with that, they don't just buy a product, they buy into a vision. The same applies to leadership. A leader who simply tells people what to do might get compliance, but a leader who explains why something matters will get commitment. People don't work harder because they are told to. They work harder because they feel connected to a cause. They go the extra mile when they believe in something bigger than themselves. History is filled with examples of people who inspire change not because they had more power, but because they had a clear and compelling why. Civil rights leaders, revolutionary thinkers, and industry pioneers didn't just talk about what needed to change, they spoke about why it mattered. And because they started with why, people followed, not out of obligation, but out of belief. When people find their why, they unlock a level of motivation that cannot be manufactured through external incentives alone. Money, status, and rewards might push someone to work harder temporarily, but true fulfillment comes from knowing that what they do matters. This is why some of the most passionate people in the world are those who are deeply connected to their purpose. Whether it's an artist creating work that inspires, a teacher shaping young minds, or an entrepreneur building something that changes lives. The power of why also transforms teams and organizations. A company with a clear why attracts employees who share its values, customers who resonate with its vision, and partners who believe in its mission. It creates a culture where people are not just working for a paycheck, but for a purpose. They don't need to be micromanaged because they are internally driven to contribute. They don't need constant motivation because they are already inspired. But finding why requires reflection. It's easy to say what you do. It's harder to articulate why you do it. Many leaders and organizations lose sight of their original purpose as they grow, focusing more on short-term goals than long-term impact. But those who stay true to their why build something lasting. They create loyalty, not just transactions. They cultivate trust, not just efficiency. They inspire movements, not just markets. When leaders communicate their why clearly, they don't just attract followers, they create believers. And believers don't just support, they advocate, they contribute, they push the mission forward even in difficult times. Because when people believe in why something exists, they will fight for it, protect it, and help it grow. Growth and leadership are never found in the realm of comfort. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, and every transformation begins with a decision to step beyond the familiar. Comfort is safe, predictable, and easy, but it is also the enemy of progress. Courage, on the other hand, is uncertain, challenging, and often uncomfortable, but it is the birthplace of greatness. The best leaders, the ones who inspire change and drive innovation, are not the ones who seek comfort. They are the ones who embrace discomfort because they understand that growth requires risk. They know that fear and uncertainty are not signals to stop, but indicators that they are moving in the right direction. Every significant moment of progress in history, every major advancement was led by someone who was willing to push past the fear of the unknown. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action despite fear. Every leader who has ever taken a stand, started a movement, or changed the world has felt doubt. They have felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on them. But they did not let that stop them. They moved forward not because they were fearless, but because their mission, their belief, their why was stronger than their fear. Most people choose comfort because it feels safe. The predictable routine, the familiar environment, the known path, it all feels secure. But security can be a trap. It can hold people in place, keeping them from reaching their full potential. Comfort is where dreams go to die, where ambition is dulled, where leaders lose their edge. The greatest danger is not failure, it is stagnation. Because the moment a person or a team becomes too comfortable, they stop growing. Leaders must be willing to take risks, to step into situations where success is not guaranteed. They must be willing to challenge the status quo, to push themselves and others beyond what feels easy. This does not mean being reckless. It means being willing to do the difficult thing when the difficult thing is the right thing. Courage in leadership also means making hard decisions. It means standing up for what is right, even when it is unpopular. It means speaking the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. It means holding yourself and others accountable, even when it is easier to look the other way. The strongest leaders are not the ones who avoid conflict, but the ones who navigate it with integrity, honesty, and a willingness to make tough calls. There is also a personal side to courage. It is not just about leading others, it is about leading yourself. It is about being willing to face your own weaknesses, your own fears, your own limitations. It is about choosing growth over ease, self-improvement over complacency. It is about having the courage to admit when you are wrong, to learn from failure, and to keep moving forward even when things don't go as planned. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They are the ones who get back up again and again, no matter how many times they fall. They understand that every challenge is an opportunity, every setback is a lesson, and every moment of discomfort is a chance to grow stronger. True leadership requires stepping into uncertainty, making bold choices, and being willing to stand alone if necessary. It requires the courage to take responsibility, to own mistakes, to listen to criticism without being defeated by it. It requires resilience, the ability to keep going, to push through doubt, to keep believing in the mission even when the path is unclear. Those who choose comfort over courage may avoid failure, but they also avoid greatness. They may never experience deep disappointment, but they will also never experience the deep satisfaction of knowing they gave everything they had to something that truly mattered. Trust is the foundation of leadership. It is the invisible thread that holds teams together, the force that makes people willing to follow, and the key to unlocking true collaboration. Without trust, leadership is nothing more than authority. Without trust, people comply, but they do not commit. They follow orders, but they do not give their best. True leadership is not about demanding loyalty, it is about earning it. Many leaders assume that because they have a title, they automatically deserve trust. But trust does not come with a position. It is not given because of rank or status. It must be built moment by moment, action by action. It is earned through consistency, honesty, and integrity. People trust leaders not because they are told to, but because they see that those leaders are worthy of trust. Trust is built through actions, not words. A leader can say all the right things, but if their actions do not align with their words, trust erodes. When a leader promises transparency but withholds information, people notice. When a leader preaches accountability but avoids taking responsibility, people remember. Trust is fragile. It takes time to build, but it can be lost in an instant. One of the most powerful ways to build trust is through consistency. People need to know what to expect from their leader. If a leader is unpredictable, supportive one day and dismissive the next, people become hesitant. They hold back, unsure of how they will be treated. But when a leader consistently shows up with integrity, fairness, and reliability, people begin to trust. They feel safe to speak up, to take risks, to bring their best ideas forward. Trust is also built through vulnerability. Many leaders believe that showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness, but the opposite is true. When a leader admits they don't have all the answers, it creates space for others to step in with solutions. When a leader acknowledges mistakes, it builds credibility. People do not expect perfection, they expect honesty. They trust leaders who are real, not leaders who pretend to be invincible. Listening is another essential ingredient in trust. People trust leaders who hear them, who value their perspectives, who make them feel seen. A leader who listens does not just wait for their turn to speak. They actively engage, ask questions, and consider different viewpoints. When people feel heard, they feel respected, and when they feel respected, they trust. Trust is also built through empowerment. A leader who micromanages signals that they do not trust their team. But a leader who gives people ownership, who trusts them to make decisions, who believes in their capabilities, those are the leaders people want to work for. When leaders show trust in their people first, that trust is often reciprocated. Accountability is another critical piece. Trust is not about being perfect, it is about taking responsibility when things go wrong. A leader who blames others, who makes excuses, who avoids difficult conversations, those behaviors destroy trust. But a leader who owns mistakes, who learns from them, who holds themselves and others accountable with fairness and integrity, that is a leader people respect. Trust cannot be rushed. It cannot be demanded. It is a slow, steady process of proving again and again that a leader is worthy of belief, respect, and loyalty. It is built in the small moments, following through on commitments, standing up for what is right, showing kindness when it is not expected. The leaders who earn trust are the ones who understand that leadership is not about power, it is about service. It is about putting others first, about creating an environment where people feel safe, valued, and supported. When people trust their leader, they give more than just their time. They give their energy, creativity, and dedication. They don't just follow because they have to, they follow because they want to. Leadership is not about power, it is about service. The greatest leaders in history were not those who demanded obedience, but those who inspired through their actions. They led not by ruling over people, but by lifting them up. Leadership is not a position of privilege, it is a position of responsibility. It is not about commanding others, it is about serving them in a way that allows them to succeed. Too often, leadership is misunderstood as authority. Many assume that being a leader means having control, making decisions, and directing people toward a goal. But true leadership is not about control. It is about influence. And influence is not gained through fear or force. It is earned through trust, respect, and selfless service. People do not follow leaders because they have to. They follow because they want to. Service and leadership starts with a mindset shift. Instead of asking, how can I get the most out of my people? Great leaders ask, how can I bring out the best in my people? This shift changes everything. It turns leadership into a mission, not a position. It makes leadership about contribution, not personal gain. The best leaders understand that their role is not to be served, but to serve. Because when leaders serve their people serve the mission. Serving as a leader means putting the needs of others before your own. It means removing obstacles, providing support, and creating an environment where people can thrive. It means leading with empathy, understanding the challenges, fears, and aspirations of those you lead. It is easy to give orders from a distance. It is far more powerful to stand beside people, to listen, and to help them grow. One of the most critical aspects of servant leadership is empowering others. A leader who rules keeps power concentrated at the top, making every decision and maintaining control. A leader who serves distributes power, trusts others to make decisions, and gives people the confidence and resources they need to succeed. When people feel empowered, they take ownership. They bring their best ideas forward. They become leaders themselves, leaders who serve. Also create a culture of trust and respect. When people see that their leader genuinely cares about their well-being, they respond with loyalty, commitment, and engagement. They feel valued, and when people feel valued, they give more. They don't just show up for a paycheck. They show up because they believe in the vision and the team. Service and leadership also requires humility. A leader who serves does not need to be the smartest person in the room. They do not seek recognition or credit. They understand that leadership is not about them, it is about the people they lead. They are willing to listen, to learn, to admit when they are wrong. They surround themselves with people who challenge them, not just those who agree with them. The strongest teams are built by leaders who serve. These leaders set the tone for the culture of an organization. They create an environment where people feel safe to take risks, to be creative, to contribute without fear of failure. They create an atmosphere where collaboration thrives, where egos are set aside, and where success is shared. Leading through service does not mean avoiding difficult decisions or failing to set high standards. It means making tough choices with compassion. It means holding people accountable in a way that helps them grow rather than tearing them down. It means setting a high bar but providing the support people need to reach it. Skills are not about demanding respect. It is about earning it. And respect is earned by serving, by putting people first, by leading in a way that prioritizes impact over status. Those who rule may get short-term compliance, but those who serve create long-term loyalty. The leaders who make the biggest difference are the ones who understand that their greatest responsibility is not to command, but to care. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the foundation of it. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of transformation is built on lessons learned from failure. Growth does not happen in comfort. It happens in struggle, in setbacks, in the moments when things do not go as planned. Failure is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced, because within every failure lies the opportunity to improve, to adapt, and to rise stronger. The world tends to celebrate success while ignoring the failures that led to it. We admire the innovators, the visionaries, the champions, but we often forget that their success is not the result of a flawless journey. Behind every successful person is a series of failures. Products that did not work, ideas that were rejected, risks that did not pay off. What separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck is not the absence of failure, but the ability to learn from it. Failure is the greatest teacher. It exposes weaknesses, highlights blind spots, and forces reflection. It is through failure that people develop resilience, creativity, and wisdom. Those who never fail never grow because they are not pushing themselves beyond their limits. Staying in the realm of what is safe and certain may prevent failure, but it also prevents progress. True growth happens when people are willing to take risks, to experiment, to step into the unknown, even when there is a chance of falling. The most successful leaders, entrepreneurs, and thinkers understand this. They do not see failure as a dead end, but as a stepping stone. They do not ask, "Why did this happen to me?" They ask, "What can I learn from this?" They use failure as fuel to refine their ideas, strengthen their skills, and improve their approach. Every setback becomes a lesson, every mistake a building block for future success. One of the biggest barriers to growth is the fear of failure. People avoid taking risks because they are afraid of looking foolish, of being judged, of falling short. But the reality is, failure is not what holds people back. Fear is. The fear of failure keeps people from trying, from putting themselves out there, from chasing their ambitions. But those who reframe failure as a necessary part of the journey find the courage to take action despite uncertainty. Failure also builds character. It teaches humility, patience, and perseverance. It forces people to confront their weaknesses and develop a mindset of continuous improvement. Those who experience failure and keep going develop an inner strength that cannot be taught in any other way. They learn that setbacks do not define them. Their response to setbacks does. In leadership, failure is essential. A leader who has never failed is a leader who has never truly been tested. The best leaders are those who have experienced failure, learned from it, and used those lessons to lead with wisdom and empathy. They understand that failure is not a sign of incompetence, it is a sign of effort. They create cultures where people are not afraid to make mistakes because they know that innovation and progress come from trial and error. Organizations that fear failure stagnate. They avoid risk, stick to outdated methods, and resist change. But organizations that embrace failure as part of the growth process thrive. They encourage experimentation, support bold ideas, and create environments where learning is valued more than perfection. Failure is not something to hide from or be ashamed of. It is proof that a person is pushing beyond their comfort zone, that they are striving for something greater. It is through failure that resilience is built, that breakthroughs happen, that success is ultimately achieved. The people who make the biggest impact are not those who never fail, they are those who refuse to let failure stop them.